But
recap. Cycle 1, fail. Cycle 2,
fail.
Cycle 3, fail. IVF, next.
Yeah, because right?
No, I wanted to do IVF as soon as he mentioned that our chances were going to decrease with every IUI, but because we had that conversation already, I was like, I can't just tell him yes, I want to do IVF without talking to Megan first.
Yeah.
So that's why I came, because we already made that agreement before. Hey, we're just going to do one more IUI.
Yeah, we did. I'm not gonna lie, we did. I think what made me think about it was the fact that he said the percentages go down, and then when he walked us through the different steps of IVF they have, well, the different what's it called?
They have 4 different protocols.
4 different protocols.
Yeah,
so when he walked us through the protocols, and he said, well, because of your status and your health and your age and what you're trying to do and what you're trying to get out of this, our best bet is for you to do a mini IVF, which consists of less drugs, less medication. Well, drugs and medication are the same thing, but less medication, less egg retrieval, right?
Well, it's less medication, so it's a more holistic approach to IVF.
Yeah.
So like with the conventional IVF, you're probably shooting yourself up with medication 3 to 4 times a day for like the course of 2 weeks. With this one, it's more oral, so it's oral stimulation, and then you have injections maybe every day, 1 injection every day or every other day. So it's less medication, which is supposed to produce better quality and less quantity.
Exactly. And that's what we wanted. We wanted more of a quality over quantity because like she mentioned before, we already established that we're not trying to have more than 2 kids.
3 possible.
If God blesses us with more, then you know what? We'll take the challenge and we'll do what we gotta do. But for right now, 2 is our minimum. I mean, our limit. Sorry, minimum. Okay. Woo, buddy. So yeah. So that was like also in the back of my head when we were driving home. I'm like, okay, it's less medication. That was a big fear of her. She didn't want to do a lot of medication.
And not only that, medication is costly. So
yeah, and that was another thing that
I was
pricey.
like, I don't want to pay like thousands of dollars. Well, actually, that wasn't my concern. That was more so your concern than anything else. My concern was actually injecting myself with all these extra hormones and just being a like total bitch more than I already am.
Well, it's true that. No.
Megan's concern was more of the financial aspect of it, where she didn't want to spend thousands of dollars on.
Well, to my defense, you know, I do want to purchase a house within the next year or 2. So I was looking at it more of like if we can save where we can save, why not? You know, but, you know, at the end of the day, like, this is a different approach. So I was like, okay, it's less medication, less expenses, you know, let's just try it.
See how it goes,
and how it goes, because we could have done 3 cycles of IUI, and that would kind of equivalent it to 1 cycle IVF. I know some people's head are like, but you get 3 instead of 1. Yeah. But we're not doing it for the quantity; we're doing it for the quality. You know?
Yeah, I mean, honestly, it really just takes 1 egg, and if we have 1 egg out of this IVF, that's great. If we have more, that's perfect. We can preserve our children for the future, but you know, we just want 1 right now.
Yeah.
And why not invest that $3,000 that we would have spent on sperm for the additional 3 IUIs towards IVF, and you know, possibly that can get us 1.
Sure. Definitely
Or
true.
2.
Or 2. Yeah. So once we left. And we got home and, you know, we unwind and everything. We still were hopeful that we were pregnant because she still didn't get her menstruation.
We were.
And
I had no symptoms.
None at all.
Like, normally I get cramping before, like hot, fiery cramping. That, no cramping, no spotting.
Nothing. My
boobs were tender, but they were a different type of tender. They didn't feel like they normally would before I get my period. But then again, that could be the letrozole that I was on. But yeah, we were hopeful. And even when the nurse called to let us know.
Because she sounded so excited.
The nurse.
I'm like.
She definitely started the conversation.
Yeah, hyped. But that's just her personality.
Yeah, that's just how she is.
Yeah, so that's not. We're not trying to say that it was her fault to get us hyped up, but that's just her personality. She's a very like energetic person. Yeah. So when she called and she told us like, hey, listen, you know, unfortunately it didn't stick. You know, right then and there, Christina was like, hey,
I knew.
What do you want to do?
No, actually, I knew. Once she told me, I was like, okay, you know, we took a test before. I kind of figured that. She apologized. I was like, oh, it's okay. We had our moment to cry it out before this. And
Bruno wanted to make an appearance.
So she was giving me my protocol right there and then. She was like, because remember, we discussed this with the doctor before we left his office that we were going to do one more IUI. Mm-hmm. So she was like, oh, you know, Christina, just take letrozole starting Monday and come back Friday. And I told her, wait, hold up.
You didn't even say wait. You were like, baby, get over here.
Yeah, no, I didn't tell her. I was like, can you hold on 1 second? And then I started talking to Megan. Are we doing IVF? And Megan was like, yes, we're going to do it. So then I had told the nurse, I was like, oh, you know, we're actually going to change up our protocol. We discussed this with the doctor when we came in earlier for our blood work. He had mentioned mini IVF, and I think we're just going to skip the IUI and jump right into the IVF. So she told me, don't even worry about taking the letrozole. When you get your period, just come in cycle day 2 or 3 so we can do some monitoring, and then we'll go from there.
Yeah, and guess what? Next day, who made an appearance?
Yep, definitely.
She was like, I'm here, bitches.
Yeah, she sure did.
So she got, on Monday, we went for...
Yeah, so I got I got my period that, this all happened on a Friday. I got my period that Saturday. Mm-hmm. So Monday, cycle day 3, we went in for my ultrasound and blood work. When I went in for my ultrasound, they said that I was a good candidate for IVF. I had 18 follicles on one side, 15 follicles on the other. So at least we know I have follicles.
Right.
So that's not the problem. What was it? Yeah, so I did the scan, I did the blood work. I sat down with the nurse, so she was just going over like pretty much what to expect during the procedure. I'll be taking letrozole for a few days. They're gonna introduce Gonal-F with the letrozole after a few days. And then based on my cycle, they'll see if they need to increase my medication, decrease my medication. Mm-hmm. They also gave me
She'll put in the name right here. Because none of us know how to pronounce it.
I think it's called. It's another medication that's supposed to stop premature ovulation, so I don't ovulate before they actually do the egg retrieval. I'm also going to be on Avidril. Well, I take an Avidril for the trigger shot for the retrieval. What else did we go over?
I don't know, because I wasn't there when you guys spoke. I was downstairs in the car.
So just the medications that I'll be taking. Oh, and then she told me how the procedure is going to go. So it's going to be, right now they have me on birth control pills for about 2 weeks just to wait for clearance from my insurance. After that, that's when I'll start taking medication. I come in, be medication, and then I'll come in a few days, every other day, every 3 days for monitoring, just so they can check to see if my eggs are growing. And then after that, I think within like 14 days, 12 to 14 days, they would administrate, we would administrate the trigger shot. And then
day 16,
16
to 17,
later, 2.5 days later,
they'll do the retrieval. And then we'll wait for them to let us know if any of our follicles turned into embryos, and if they can do the examination?
The transfer. So the transfer, we're gonna do the fresh transfer.
Yeah, I think so. I think we decided on that.
Yeah,
we decided not to do the genetic testing. Each person is different, but you know, talking to the nurse practitioner and talking to each other.
Yeah, at first I wanted to do it just to outweigh like the poor quality embryos. I figured if we're gonna spend all this money on IVF, we might as well like go in with a bang and you know, reduce our chances of, God forbid, having a miscarriage or just having a transfer that's not gonna stick because it wasn't a good quality embryo. But I was speaking to the nurse, and the nurse was like, oh, you're fairly young, you don't have any underlying health diseases, or not health diseases, you don't have any underlying health issues, you have a good amount of eggs. I don't see why you would have to do genetic testing, she said. She said the only thing that genetic testing will really do for us is to give us the gender.
The gender, yeah, and we decided that we didn't want to know the gender going into this, that we wanted to be a surprise when she's in the delivery room. And also,
and she also stated, she was like, it's not a guarantee. You can spend all this money on genetic testing and it could be the best quality embryo that you have out of your batch, and it may not stick. And she was like, and you're gonna wind up losing thousands of dollars on all these genetic the genetic testing for the embryos for possibly a few of them not to stick. Yeah. So I had that conversation with Megan when I got back to the car, and Megan was like, I honestly didn't want to do it from the get-go. I just,
I agreed with you because I know that's something you want, but I'm, at this point it wasn't really the finance. Like, I agreed with her, so it wasn't like, oh no, I don't want to do it because of the finances. I more so didn't want to do it because, at the end of the day, you're blessed with what you're blessed with. Mm-hmm. You are given what you're given, and you can't change that.
Yeah.
You can't.
God is gonna bless us with a sick child. Or that was just something He knew we were.
That's in our path, or in our our destiny. Then it is what it is. I'm really a big believer on that. And at the end of the day, I'm big on challenges and stepping up to it. So I didn't look at it like, oh no, I need to know. You need to have the best egg, and it better be a stud. Or
I don't think I don't think honestly that I wanted to do it because I wanted to avoid any sick child.
No, I don't think that's your case.
I think I wanted to do it just because we already did the 3 IUIs. We know the heartbreak of having a negative. And then to have to go through all this and get, have a transfer for it to possibly be a negative, that will really I'm even getting emotional right now because that will take a toll on me.
No, I know. And that's why,
But, it is true.
It would take a toll, but babe, like I've always told you, whatever it's like. We can't predict things.
I know.
And things are going to, we can't control things. And things are going to work out the way they're gonna work out, and I'm always gonna be here, and I'm always gonna catch you, and you're always gonna catch me when we fall, and it's gonna sting if it doesn't work, but we gotta keep on moving, because that's who we are. You know what I mean? We're fighters. We don't give up easily. You know what I mean? And like I've always told you, I know you have nothing to do with this. You can't control your body. If you could, you would have been pregnant a long time ago.
For real.
You can't control it. So don't take it like that. Okay?
Okay.
You're doing everything possible.
Okay. I know that.
Okay. I always want to make sure you know that. And if it doesn't, it would suck, but I just try to keep going forward and looking at positive things in life, and
we have to.
To just
God
even
would
be
not
here.
Bring us, honestly, I keep on telling myself that every day. God would not bring us here if we didn't have a child. We would. 3 years ago, we never thought that we would
exactly,
be here.
And that's how I look at it.
It's just okay, and then we went through 3 cycles. 3 years ago, we wouldn't have been able to go through 3 cycles, and it's just okay, now we're having that. It's a blessing to even be able to do IVF, and I can't see Him bringing us this far to not get us where we want to go.
Yeah, I agree, but at the same time, I tell you all the time again, I'm also thankful that we even got to here.
Of course.
Although the disappointments and the negatives, are a shot to your ego and a shot to the process.
Yeah.
But at the same time, I've always been someone to say, you need to be thankful for the blessings you have. You need to be thankful for the things and the opportunities that you're given, and the things that you're able to accomplish, because not everybody has those.
Yeah.
Not everybody's given those opportunities.
Yeah.
So when you're given an opportunity, even if it doesn't work out in your favor, at the end of the day, that opportunity was still given to you. When there's other people that are going through worse things and not able to do things. And I know some people might take offense to that, oh no, it's my time. And I don't mean it in an offensive way. That's just my process and how I process things. But at the same time, I get where she's coming from. And, that's why I think I was more so doing the IVF route, because I knew, the chances were a little higher for us, and it had a little bit of an outcome for us. And I just wanted to make sure that, she feels supported in this process, and, she doesn't feel like I'm trying to dictate it or kind of like maneuver it in my way.
I never felt like that during this whole process. I feel like honestly we've had our little bickers here and there about things, but I feel like for the most part we're on the same page. You know, we've really worked together. I mean, we normally work together.
We're a pretty good team.
We really worked together through this, and we both agreed, and if we didn't agree, we come to a common agreement.
I would say common ground, and we'll find we have learned in the 13 years of being together that communication is key. It took a while because we got together very young. But we have learned that although sometimes you may not want to hear what your partner has to say, you need to hear them out. Just because you don't want to hear it doesn't mean that you don't need to hear it out. And we have learned to understand each other and understand each other's feelings and say, okay, I understand. I know where you're coming from. I get it. You know, I'm sorry. I'm sorry that I overlooked that, or I'm sorry that you felt that way, or you interpreted it that way, because that was not what I was meant for.
That wasn't my intention.
That wasn't my intentions. But we appreciate you guys jumping on and following along and watching our videos. You know, if you like what you see, please subscribe to our channel and everything, right? All right, guys. Peace out. Stay blessed.
Bye.